Hey guys, welcome back to another episode in my bus conversion saga. Now that I'm a bit more confident that I've got the wall panels secured a bit better, it's finally time to get cracking on sealing up all the gaps and get this bus watertight once and for all. So as you can see, I've run fresh sealant all the way along the edges of the gutter. Hopefully I've got enough coverage that it'll stop any water getting through down behind the back of the gutter and inside the wall panels. It certainly looks a lot better than it did before, so hopefully this will do the trick. Basically here, anywhere where you can see I've put the silver duct tape is where I have to seal. So vertical joins between the panels. So there's one here, you can see another one here. So there's gaps in there that need to be sealed. And then I also want to seal this horizontal join all the way along. So if I remove this duct tape, and I'll just show you what is underneath. So if you remember in one of my earlier videos, I did have a go at sealing up the gaps between these panels just by running a bead of sealant in between, but the issue that I had was because the gaps are so small, there really isn't enough space to properly get a lot of sealant in there, and it's very hard to get good coverage. You know, there's already a little gap there, so it just wasn't enough to properly do it, and there was still a little bit of water getting in here. So what I'm planning to do is actually get some aluminium strips and completely cover this join and then seal the edges of that. So hopefully that'll give a lot better coverage. And I actually did a test one yesterday afternoon. So if I take some of this duct tape off and show you what's underneath here. So you can see, hopefully you can see, I've got this 80mm wide strip of aluminium. It's quite thin, it's only 1.6mm thick, and I've actually glued that with heavy duty Sika adhesive to the wall of the bus, and so the gap between the panels is in behind here. I've just got these bits of duct tape holding it on just to prevent gravity from sort of sliding it down too far as it cures. But the plan is to then come back after this is fully cured and run sealant down the edges of this. So I'm going to do this for each one of the vertical joins, top and bottom, and then the horizontal seam I'm going to do a little bit differently because I'll show you what's underneath here. This is the black panel on the top and the white panel, and in between is this joiner strip, and it actually sticks out a bit further than the panels, which is really annoying. Just means I can't easily put a single strip across this because this bit in the middle is sticking out further than the panels. So what I'm going to do is put a little skinny strip on the bottom, little skinny strip on the top, and then put a wider strip over the top of all those, so totally clearing this, and then I'll fill all that with sealant. Hopefully that'll make a bit more sense when I show you as I do it, but that's the plan. The bus is going to look a bit like a patchwork quilt with all these crisscrossing aluminium strips covering all the joins. But to be honest, as long as it serves its purpose and stops the water getting in, I really don't care what it looks like. And these aluminium strips can be sanded and painted along with the rest of the bus, so I'm really not that concerned. So after scraping out as much of the old silicone as I could from inside the gap, I used a ruler to measure out 40 mil and drew a line down either side of the join. I did this so I had a guide to make sure I centered my aluminium strip nicely over the join. I then ran masking tape down either side of the line. This was just to protect the surrounding panels from any excess glue that might be squeezed out when I applied the strip. I then got some fairly coarse sandpaper and sanded the whole area that was to be glued. This was because the sticker doesn't really stick very well to the glossy aluminium composite panel, and sanding just allows the surface to be roughened up a bit and get better adhesion. After sanding, I gave the area a really good brush and then wiped it down with a damp cloth to remove any excess dust and little bits of aluminium. I made sure I put a really thick bead of Sika down over the gap so that when I put the strip on and pushed it in against the panel, it would squeeze the adhesive into the gap and really seal it up well. I then applied a good bead of Sika down either side of the aluminium cover strip. Now for the tricky part. So I'm gently pushing the strip into the panel, making sure that it's aligned where I want it to be, and pressing the strip into the wall so that I get good adhesion. Once I was happy with the position of the strip, I then used multiple pieces of duct tape to hold it in place. The duct tape helps to hold the strip against the wall, but it also helps stop the strip from sliding down due to gravity as the Sika is curing. So this is how I'm doing the horizontal strip. Because I had this little joiner strip joining the two panels that stuck out further than the panels, I decided to put thin strips on either side that are the same thickness as the wider strips that I used to cover the vertical joins. So now I've got two horizontal strips that are sort of more or less flush with these ones and well and truly clear that. So the plan is to just fill all of this with the adhesive and then stick another strip over the top of this that'll cover all of that and go all the way across those joins, and then I will seal along that top and bottom, and hopefully that will do the trick. So this is what it looks like after I've applied the top cover strip. So basically what I did is filled this whole area in here between the two thin strips with the adhesive sealant, put plenty of sealant in there, and then stuck the top cover strip on over the top. And then I came along once that was dry and sealed the top and bottom of that strip. And this is what the finished result looks like. It doesn't look too bad from a distance actually. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. It looks a little bit rougher up close, but the important thing is that it should be well and truly sealed now against any water getting in. This one here was a little bit tricky because I actually had to cut the aluminium cover strip on a curve to fit around the driver's window. I just used my jigsaw to cut the curve from the aluminium, and then once I'd stuck it on, I filled the whole area in with black sealant to blend in with the rubber around the driver's windows. And this is the passenger side. I've only done the back half of this side because I'll just come up here and show you where this join is here. There's actually a window going in there that'll go right across that join. So I want to put the window in first before I come back and seal up the join. The good thing here is that this particular join is the only one in the whole bus that doesn't leak. So I'm actually okay with leaving it as it is for a little bit longer. This was a massive job and took me a lot longer than I thought it would to get it all finished, but I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. It doesn't look too bad. The important thing now is, does it actually work to keep the water out? guys. I think I've given it a pretty good test. I mean, short of getting an actual big storm, which is pretty unlikely now for the next few months, but I'm well and truly wet. The bus is well and truly wet. I've flooded the area where the bus is parked. I've had sprinklers going on the roof for almost 2 hours now. There's been water running constantly down both sides of the bus. I blasted both sides of the bus. I well and truly soaked, you know, the areas where the joins are. So I did my best to really try and get water in, and there's just nothing. I mean, I've had a really good look inside the bus, in all the joins, the places that the water was getting in before, and I just can't see anything. I'm a little bit scared to call it after having problems with leaks for so long, but I think I've actually managed to fix them, finally. Now, I do still have a leak around the door, which is a separate issue, and at some stage I'm actually going to be replacing the bus door, probably with a motorhome door. There's a bit involved in that, so I've sort of been putting it off for a while. So I still have that leak to fix, but at least I know where that's getting in, and I know how to fix it once I've got the time and the money and the skills to be able to do that. But I am just so relieved that I finally managed to fix the leaks that I had in the side walls of the bus, where a lot of the water was getting in. I've managed to fix the leaks that were coming from the roof. So yeah, I'm really happy. It's been a long process to get to this point, and I feel like finally now I can get on and start properly building the inside without having to worry about all my work getting water damage. So yes, very happy, and I'm officially declaring Operation Watertight a success.